My name's Kevin Melver. I live in Akron, Ohio. I currently have a degree in elementary education. I taught for 4 years and kind of floundering around in my professional, so I'm going to going back to school for accounting. My wife, Catherine Ward Melver, she was the president in 2007 to 2009, and we come to the conferences and we have a lot of fun. You know, we get along so well. It's amazing that we like the same things. We're involved. You know, when we first started going out, and I went up to her house, I was like, wow, she's got all these Star Wars movies on her shelves. I'm like, that's pretty cool. And then every time I turn on, like something that we have more connections, and I'm like, you know, I think there's someone sending me a sign here, you know, and it's just like everything we did was the same. You know, it's very much the same. And I know they say opposites attract, but not in our case. We are very much two peas in a pod, and you know, everything. We just get. I mean, one of us will say something, the other one just like continues that thought, because it's you know, we think the same. We do a lot of the same. You know, we like the same things. I like to hear other men's experience. You know, be it fathers or husbands, and kind of I have to identify. You know, I know what you mean. I know exactly what you mean. You know, with other people, so that connect in that way, that the same way that the Turner girls connect, in that they see someone else that has something similar to them. You know, we don't have something similar, but we have the person that we love that's similar. So that connection is really special. Be yourself, because that's who your boyfriend is or your significant other. That's who they like. That's who they're in love with. They're in love with you, and don't try to be somebody else. Be yourself. Tell them all about you. Tell them about Turner's. Bring them to the meetings. You know, say, this is me. This is all things about me. And they may have questions, but then they'll know what question to ask, instead of kind of being in the dark. And I mean, I know it's scary to that you might, because you think that you don't know what other people are going to think about something, but if you say that thing, and whatever happens, be it good or bad, but it's better to say it than to think, because you might think, oh, well, he might not like me, but you never know. My father has a tendency to buy, well, this is when I was single, he would buy me an extra ticket for the Nutcracker and ask me to find a date, so that kind of pressured me into finding a date, because I was not finding many dates on my own. So he felt he needed a little pressure, and so he says, he came at me and had the extra ticket, and he says, why don't you invite that Dr. Ward? And so I'm like, fine. So I went up to her and I said, my family's going to Nutcracker. We want to know if you wanted to come.
No, it was my dad said I should ask you.
I had a brain tumor when I was removed when I was 9, and as a result, I have hormone issues, and I probably have trouble having a child as well. So we both had that same issue. So it wasn't a big issue for me, because we had the same issue, and so we talked very early on about adopting and becoming adoptive parents. We're in the process right now to be foster parents, and we're hoping to foster to adopt. We had to take 36 hours of
Training.
And home studies and
lots of paperwork, and we've been
fingerprinted
and background checked in like 5 different agencies,
yes.
And it's crazy.
It's
crazy.
A
long process. I think the interesting thing is to think about, that most people don't, have any kind of training or background checks or anything. You just have a child, and
right.
So I think it's interesting to look at, this whole process that they have. And they need to make sure these kids are safe, and
Right. Oh, yeah.
There's good reasons why they do this, and why there's a whole list of rules that we have. So unfortunately, there have been some bad.
When we went to the initial class, they explained to us that the Children's Services has a need for foster parents. And a lot of times they'll get a child, and they won't know the circumstances or how long that child is going to be in. So they might have a newborn that they need a foster parent right away. And one of their goals is to not move the children as much as possible, leave them in one home. So if that newborn child goes to a foster home, and then later turns out that the parents cannot, meet the requirements to get the child back, that child goes to the custody of Children's Services, so it can then be adopted. Well, the foster parents have the first option to adopt, so it puts us in the front line of of adopting, of being able to adopt the kids.
But I think, and just, knowing how much need there is for those kids.
Yeah.
And really, as we've gone to the training, how actually few people really complete the whole process, which I
Yes.
think now we understand a little
Yes.
more about why.
There was 100 people in our group, and they said we'll be surprised if we get five homes
But,
out of 100 people, and that was shocking to us because. But you would see it because people started to stop coming to the classes, and and so I think by the end there was about 20 of us, and
now, some of those were kinship situations
Right.
where it was kind of on the fast track because they're
yeah,
people that know each
kinship
other.
kinship is someone that either has a relationship with the parent or the family or the child. So it might be a teacher, it might be a police officer, it might be a family friend, it might be a brother, sister, grandmother, aunt, uncle, but someone that has a relationship with that child.
So, those people, I think, there's
Those
a pretty
people,
high number of people in that class.
Yeah.
So I don't think that counted in that
Right.
statistic, but.
Yeah.
It is. There's a lot of need, like I said, looking at everything that's involved and the time that's involved.
Yeah.
You can see why.
Definitely see that.
But any of the types of adoption, are complicated
Right.
and take a lot of time. And
Yeah. When we initially started the process, a lot of people asked us if we were going to do international adoption, and we said no. There's lots of need in our area for good parents and good foster and adopted parents, and so we're just going to do this.
And I see in my work at the Chest, I see various foster kids, adopted kids, international adoptive kids, the whole mix.